What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Before we start today, I want to let you guys know I will be attending Too Many Games this weekend. It's, I think, my 5th year going now. It's one of my favorite conventions of the year, and it's always a blast to go because it's cool to see all the retro games and everything. It's a big gaming convention, and it's just a ton of fun. I'm going to see some other YouTubers there, and we'll, maybe do some crossover stuff and everything. It's going to be fun, though. So if you're around in the Oaks, PA area, make sure you guys come out. I'm going to be there Friday and Saturday. Now, you can also go on Sunday. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event from this 22nd to the 24th. And Sunday is pretty cheap. So if you're only able to go that day, that's a pretty good day to go because the tickets are a little cheaper and you can kind of get in and grab some stuff. But Saturday, I would say, is the big day to go. That's when pretty much everyone kind of shows up there, and it's a lot of fun. So make sure you check it out, especially if you need to fill in some of the holes in your retro game collection and you're a little more into showing up, checking out the item before you buy it, because nothing's worse than like getting a label from eBay on your Mega Man X3 and it's torn at the top and they never told you that. That's a bad feeling, right? So make sure you guys come on out. If you're around the area this weekend, it's going to be a great time. That's in Oaks, PA, and that's Too Many Games. Also, let's talk really quickly about Octopath Traveler. It's a game I'm really looking forward to that's coming out next month on the Nintendo Switch. Looks like an old throwback style RPG, kind of like a Final Fantasy almost, although it is modeled more so after a Bravely Default instead of a Final Fantasy. But it has that kind of look with some new style charm to it, and it's been shaping up to be one of my favorite games leading up to it because they've not only given us one demo, they've now given us a second one that lasts 3 hours and can then go into like the game. Basically your saves carry over. Well, in an interview with Dengeki, the producer actually talked a bit about the game. Specifically, there is no plan or anything for DLC, and according to them, that's because it's a complete game. This says complete game, is that right? What is that? They also talked a bit about the length of the game, which is always a question when it comes to an RPG that is a full $60. That's something I can understand because you want to know, how long is this game going to last me? Well, he says you can probably finish it after, I guess, being a bit of maybe a veteran at it or just playing through it at 50 to 60 hours. And then he said a lot of the playtest groups took 80 to 100 hours. Now he's saying 50 to 60 for like the big story that you're going through, and I guess subquests and all kinds of stuff could build it from there. Like I said, the playtests were 80 to 100 hours. And he also said it's not a super dumbed down or easy RPG, so that could have something to do with it if you have to retry or maybe do a little bit of training and grinding and stuff. But yes, it is looking awesome. They took a ton of feedback from the beta that they did. Good times there. I'm really excited, and next month we'll get our complete RPG experience. They also said really quickly that apparently because Nintendo helped them with Bravely Default and Bravely Second, that they feel a bit of loyalty there, and that's why they are working with Nintendo to bring this specifically to Switch consoles, because Nintendo's played such a big part with them, and they're doing so here again with Octopath Traveler. Good stuff. JRPG fans, I think, are going to be excited. And then with a recent interview that DualShockers posted, it does seem like Dragon Quest XI is still coming out on the Nintendo Switch. There were some shocking or weird revelations that did come out of this that some people kind of glossed over a bit. It does look like that they at least said they were porting it or bringing it to the Switch, obviously when it was the NX back in 2015, but before they seemed to have any idea of the specifications of the Nintendo Switch. And we're wondering why it's taking so long. Honestly, maybe they thought it was going to be something else, and here it is, or who knows. But yes, that, according to them, they're still working through some hurdles, some things to get through to make it work. And I don't know if it's going to be out even in the next year. This could be a end of summer or a fall 2019, kind of maybe a year after these ones launch. It's going to be a while, but I guess they're still working on it. Now on to some of the bigger news. Gamestop appears to be exploring, well, a buyout. It's very interesting to see this because while it's not shocking because GameStop has not been doing well, let's be honest here, I believe in 2017 they posted a net loss for the fiscal year of 2017 of $105 or so million. It was $105.9 million to get down to like as close as you can to the exact amount. And then they closed 100 stores. They had this data breach. It's not been good. The CEO position's kind of shifting around right now with an interim in place currently. the company's in a bit of turmoil right now, right? Let's be real about this. And of course, we hear from rooters that, well, they're exploring possibilities of a buyout. Essentially, a company would come in, buy them out. They would, most of the people who founded it or whatnot would come up with some kind of settlement for the stock, and then they would get a lump sum payout. They might have to take care of some employees that be let go if they're, you know, I guess good people, I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of logistics to it. So I think some people might be getting really excited about this happening like, you know, tomorrow or something. I think this is going to be a while. Like, honestly, I'd be shocked if anything happened this year in 2018. If anything's going to happen, it'll probably be next year because there's just a lot of stuff because, of course, the person trying to buy them out is going to offer a low price. GameStop's trying to sell it, you know, offering a high price. It is meet in the middle. There's a lot of stuff to get around. But it was kind of speculation, kind of rumor. The stock spiked heavily. It spiked up like 12% before it ended up kind of ending at about 9%. They froze it at one point because these buyout rumors were so serious it was affecting the stock market. Well, GameStop did finally come out on their news part of their website saying, GameStop Corp today confirmed it is in exploratory discussions with third parties regarding a potential transaction. There could be no assurance any agreement will result from these discussions. GameStop does not intend to make any additional comments regarding these discussions unless and until it is appropriate to do so. So GameStop, I think, tends to be larger than a lot of people realize. There are over 7,000 stores in 14 different countries, and while we kind of look at it as a dying business, it still is pretty big. So a transaction like this, like I said, isn't going to happen overnight, but it is, I think, where it will eventually end up. Like most of us, right? We've seen the GameStops we walk into. They've slowly turned from tons of games everywhere, like when I worked there and I worked to run a store with some other people, to now where it is half apparel, backpacks, iPads, iPhones, Samsung phone, all this stuff, but the other half is games. So, of course, they're trying all these different things. They bought ThinkGeek. They've been trying really hard to figure out what they could do outside of used games where all of their money is, and it's not working out well with a competition from Amazon and Best Buy even with their Gamers Club. That's gone now, so less competition, I guess, but Amazon definitely has been pushing them around. And it is possible, because they have not at all named anybody, as everyone seems to think, Amazon could buy them. I have no idea why Amazon would buy them. To be honest with you, Amazon would just probably rather watch them fold and go away. There's no reason for Amazon to buy them and take on the burden of GameStop, because I don't know if Amazon could do it any better right now, and they're probably pretty comfortable. So I am very curious as to who would be interested in even buying GameStop. Again, there's also a possibility that this leads to nothing. So keep that in mind. GameStop could just go on for the next 5, 6, 7 years even, and then eventually kind of fizzle out slowly. So we'll see. But yes, there's at least exploratory talks going on where they are looking to see, because apparently there's a lot of interest from several parties right now for GameStop. So maybe the people at the top are thinking, let's cut our losses, let's get out of this dying business now while we can. Or, hey, maybe they really are interested in flipping for a ton of money now, and there you go. That's what they might be doing, but we'll see. Maybe nothing happens, but I'm leaning more on the side of something actually happening here at some point. We'll see. Next up, let's talk about Splatoon 2 and a bit of the hacking situation. Yeah, we just talked about this yesterday about hackers being banned pretty consistently now if you are pirating games. It didn't seem to necessarily cover if you have a legitimate game and you are doing some kind of hacking or changing code or forcing situations to happen. One in particular seems to have happened, and it was posted on Twitter, where people were actually forced into an unreleased Splatoon 2 map. Check it out. Now, this was posted up by Brian, or at Luxon, where they show a situation kind of happening where someone actually enters their party through, obviously, when you're searching, you're doing matchmaking, people pop up, and they then force them into turf war on a level called New Albacore Hotel, a level that has actually not been released. It's technically unreleased and probably planned for, say, I guess maybe a free update at some point for levels. Of course, they do the Octo expansion to be paid for, but they're trying to keep, I believe, the majority of the multiplayer free, the things that would actually affect who you can and can't play with, and that's very smart. That's something they should be doing, something Call of Duty should be doing. We'll talk about that in a minute, though. But yes, this is one of those situations where hackers are actually affecting the online game to a degree. I'm sure these people were pretty excited. They're like, oh, this is interesting. This is a new level I've never seen. And as they kind of got really hyped up, and then they probably started to realize what happened, they were then taken by a person who's hacking the game and then force them into a map that they shouldn't be in, so they probably don't necessarily want to be associated with somebody who is cheating in the game and hacking, because that could make them look bad. So I get it. There are probably times where essentially innocent players are being forced into these situations, and this is just one we've heard about. So we'll see, but Splatoon is the worst game, I think, to hack, because that is probably one of the most competitive games on the Nintendo Switch. I'd probably say the most competitive right now, with the Nintendo fan base really into the game, and it finding definitely, I would say, a more competitive side to it than anything else. Right now, I think personally on the platform. Let me know what you guys think about this down below. Would you like to run into a hacker that would then force you into a game in a map you've never seen before? Or would that kind of worry you a bit with Nintendo possibly just banning everyone in the party or something? I don't know. Let me know, guys. Next up, let's talk about Call of Duty Black Ops 4, a game that at its current position should in no way outsell Battlefield, at least with the stipulations both are putting forward, where Battlefield is not having you pay for a season pass. I'm sure they'll make it up with their microtransactions. Obviously, they both will, because Call of Duty is probably going to have their full suite of microtransactions, maybe loot boxes. They got away with it last year with no one talking about it because of the big stink Battlefront made. This year it's going to be a little harder with Battlefield, seemingly, at least for now. It's EA, so you gotta be careful. But seemingly for now, being more pro player than Call of Duty. What am I talking about with Call of Duty? Well, right now they are introducing a battle pass, or a season pass essentially, where you have to pay extra money on top of the $60 purchase to then get maps that they will then sprinkle, I guess, throughout the year. It's not uncommon. It's something we've lived with since the 360 days. But this is weird because it appears that they have currently only locked it to the special $100 edition, which means there's a difference of $40 there for the Battle Pass. Now, is that an issue? Yes, because if somebody just buys a $60 game and they don't really want to get into all the DLC stuff because it's just more money, it will then split the player base, right? Because I guess if you don't have the map, you can't play on the map, and that hurts it. That's I think one of the big reasons Battlefield did not do that. Mostly because they have to get back in with fans, right? Because of what happened with Battlefront. But it does hurt the community. It hurts the online population when your friend cannot play with you because you did not spend the extra $30 on the maps. That's an issue. That's something that I think at least some of them learned. But I'm going to tell you guys this now. Activision got away with a big one last year. WW2 was full of loot boxes. They were extremely predatory. They would drop it down, and they made a big spectacle out of it so people would watch you, and then they'd want it. And it was a whole thing, DLC and all that stuff. It was pretty impressive how much they got away with, only because Battlefront 2 caused such an issue. Not going to be the same this year, and people are already not terribly happy with Black Ops 4 because it has no campaign. Battlefield does. We're going to see what happens here, because they show up with not only a Battle Pass, or a Season Pass if you want to call it that. It's $30 to $40 currently locked in the Special Edition, Premium Edition thing, and then they do microtransactions, and then they do loot boxes. They're kind of in the position EA was last year, where they seem to be really pushing the monetization stuff. And I mean, maybe it's time for Call of Duty to get smacked down the same way. In our last bit of news, let's talk about Final Fantasy 14. It's a game that's pretty much locked to, I guess, PC and PlayStation 4, but the producer actually really wants it on other systems. In fact, he specifically said the Switch, even the NX at the time, and the Xbox One. His big stipulation is that he wants cross-play between all of them, and that's probably not going to happen. One, Sony gets to bar this game off completely from other systems by just saying no, and it works for them because they get the player base. So they won't want to do that, but what's interesting here is the way that they're talking about it now seems like something may have shifted in the background. This is what they actually said to VGR very recently. I want as many people to play as possible, and we hope to announce something as soon as we can. So it doesn't seem like he's letting this go at all, right? The producer of Final Fantasy 14, I don't blame him, because yes, an MMORPG needs as many systems as possible playing to help with that player base. It really does. I know Final Fantasy 14 is very popular. There's a lot of people who play it, a lot of diehards, but let's be real. The more systems that can play it, the bigger your player base is going to be no matter what. I mean, if you have 2 systems or you have 4 systems, which one do you think is going to give you the most in terms of player base? Let's say it was just PC and PS4, or PC, PS4, Switch, Xbox One. Let's be honest, it's going to be all 4 of them. So it seems like the more they talk, it is Sony's crossplay issues that is keeping them down, but they keep talking about the Xbox, the Switch, and the PC, and there is a 3-way cross there, obviously. They can all play together. So I wonder if they would do the same thing that we've seen Fortnite and other things do, where they make it so that the PC, the Switch, and the Xbox One can all play together, and the PlayStation 4 PC can also connect, and PS4 just kind of be over here. because that can only help the game, so, we'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button. It really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's GameStop's buyout. Are you excited at the possibility of GameStop being bought out by a bigger company or another company? Is that something that interests you? And do you think they would keep it the same way, or do you think they would make dramatic changes? Because the amount of interest there tells me that they have a plan, at least, right? It's not a turnkey, it's definitely not a turnkey company right now. Changes would have to definitely be made. So I'm curious who would even be interested in this. What about the Splatoon 2 hacking situation? Was it forcing people into different levels? Let me know about that. What about Final Fantasy 14? Would you want it on the Xbox and the Switch, especially if you can kind of sign into any of them you want and you can just play? Would that be something you would like? And would the Switch even be interesting to you for Final Fantasy 14? Or would you be someone who'd be like, oh, I can get it on my Xbox? That is awesome. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.